Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Limnacker, and taking a look at some of the top stories that we're following right now. There is an investigation underway right now after a fire that happened. This happened in DeKalb County. Just trying to get my graphics here working. But here's a look at the scene. This is on Jematis Way there, and fire officials tell us that the home affected is now a total loss. You can see multiple crews responding to that scene. Heat from the fire actually caused damage to another home next door in addition to that original home that was damaged. No one was home at the time of the fire. That's the good news. So no one was hurt in this. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. We're going to keep following all the developments on this story here on Atlanta News First Plus. And now to another investigation we've been following very closely. We're learning more this morning about a shocking case about 90 miles northwest of Atlanta. 4 young men found shot to death at a park in Dalton. Atlanta News First Rebecca Schramm reports from DeKalb County at the headquarters for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
The GBI is assisting in this case. That's the agency conducting the autopsy on the 4 victims. We now know a potential motive in the case. Take a look. We saw flowers at Pleasant Grove Park near Dalton, where an apparent shootout happened late Saturday night. You could see several evidence markers surrounding an SUV. Killed in the shooting were Joshua Palico, age 19, from Dalton, David Delgadillo, 21, from Dalton, Daniel Segura Cruz, 17, from Rome, and Robert Valencia, age 18, also from Rome. According to the Whitfield County Sheriff, a 16-year-old has been arrested, but he's not naming that person publicly. The sheriff says it appears 2 groups met at the park, one of them to, quote, obtain contraband, and he says it looks like they all showed up armed.
We have reason to believe that the motive was a robbery, possibly to some contraband that was found in the vehicle that was at the scene.
One of my colleagues spoke off camera last night with family members of one of the victims. They told her he is a soccer player at Rome High School. At GBI headquarters in DeKalb County, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
All right, thanks so much to Rebecca for that report. We're going to keep following the latest there. Also this morning, closing arguments set to begin in the retrial for a Gwinnett County father charged in connection to his 8-year-old daughter's death. The child's stepmom, apologize for this issue with the graphics there. The child's stepmom is accused of hitting the little girl with a wooden rolling pin. As Atlanta News First Asia Wilson explains, he's pleading his innocence.
Claudere Barrows said this a few weeks ago when he stood in trial before a mistrial was called, and he's saying it again in this retrial in front of new jurors. He maintains that his wife admitted to the crime and he had nothing to do with it. Now, Barrows, who is charged with child cruelty, took the stand yesterday. Homicide detective Angela Carter also testified, saying the 37-year-old man made alarming statements while being questioned after the murder of his daughter, Soraya. She said Barrows wanted to see his wife, the child's stepmother, who is also charged with the child's death. Now, investigators say on January 30th, the woman was angry with the child and allegedly hit the young girl in the back of the neck with a wooden rolling pin while Claudere was at work. Now, he says he rushed home after his wife called him about the incident.
And she said, I've killed Cider and I'm going to kill myself. Call someone to come and pick us up. And she never struck Cider in my presence, got angry and asked strike Cider or any of my kids. So at that moment, I'm just out of affliction. I'm trying to figure out what led her to that point.
Closing arguments are beginning right now, and at some point today, deliberations could follow. In Gwinnett County, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
All right, also ahead of the busy Labor Day weekend of travel, this is not the news that you wanted to hear. A suspected cyber attack causing massive disruptions at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. The First Alert breaking news tracker is at our airport in Atlanta, along with Atlanta News First Don Shipman, who says officials at Hartsfield-Jackson are no doubt monitoring this situation.
To be clear, there is no cyber attack here at Atlanta, but it is something airport officials are closely monitoring. Whenever something big happens at another big airport, it can have a ripple effect. And the folks in Seattle, well, they're still dealing with that attack from over the weekend. Here's what we know happened. Computer systems were disrupted over the weekend at the Port of Seattle, which operates their airport. Many passengers looking for flight information on the SEA website were greeted by an error message. Now, while this is only impacting one airport, many air travelers still have last month's CrowdStrike meltdown fresh on their minds. That glitchy software update hobbling companies worldwide, including Atlanta-based Delta Airlines. Security experts warned that these increasing attacks could be test runs.
Big prizes for hackers. I think this is probably motivated by people trying to figure out whether they can attack our critical infrastructure.
Again, no real impact here in Atlanta, but by the way, we're heading into the Labor Day weekend. Something to keep in mind, TSA expects Labor Day travel crowds to beat last year's numbers by a good 8%. We're at Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta International Airport. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
All right, and thanks to Don for that report. Let's talk about the forecast now with First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. Ooh, looks like it's going to get pretty hot and steamy today.
Yes, and it's only the beginning. In fact, we have a couple of First Alert weather days on the horizon for even hotter temperatures, some of the hottest temperatures that we've had in quite some time. So I really hope you've been able to get out and enjoy the beautiful weather we've had the past several days, because that is unfortunately coming to an end. We had a really nice morning this morning with low humidity. A lot of us started in the low 60s. Our temperatures will get hotter this afternoon, and that will continue to be a trend over the next couple of days. High temperatures climbing into the low 90s today. Taking you back to that graphic I was just showing you, if you have any lunch plans today, temperatures will already be in the mid-80s at that point. And again, through much of the afternoon into the evening, we will be in the 90s. Some of us will top out in the upper 80s today, but overall, pretty hot day with temperatures again, low to mid 90s. Further south and east you go, it's a little more humid for you. So places like Athens down to Eatonton, you'll top out generally in the mid 90s today. Overnight tonight, lows will drop into the mid to upper 60s. So our low 60s and even some upper 50s going to be a thing of the past tomorrow morning. The humidity will start to go up tomorrow morning as well. So without that dry air in place, that doesn't allow our temperatures to drop quite as quickly. And that'll kind of keep us generally, again, in the mid to upper 60s to send you out the door tomorrow morning. So it's not going to feel quite as crisp and cool leaving work and school tomorrow morning. Let's take you through it. So here's a look at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Notice we have dew points in the 70s. The further south you go, essentially our wind is going to start to come out of the south and down to our south, even though it's several hours drive away. Of course, you have the Atlantic Ocean to our southeast, and you have the Gulf of Mexico down to our southwest. We're going to be under the influence of that. So we'll have more moisture getting pulled in from the oceans, and that will ultimately increase our humidity. So tomorrow morning, a lot of us, with the exception of the mountains, it'll probably still be fairly dry for you tomorrow morning. It's going to feel pretty sticky and muggy out there, and that'll just continue through the day. Not going to feel comfortable, and we'll continue the high humidity through Thursday. So naturally, with our temperatures heading back into the mid-90s, that southerly wind also promotes a warming trend. So temperatures will be in the mid-90s tomorrow, maybe some upper 90s in some spots, but it will feel, regardless, more like the upper 90s to triple digits, and the same thing goes for Thursday. So again, those are the hottest days of the week. We've really not had high heat like this in quite some time, so we've got a really nice break, which I don't think anyone's complaining about, but it returns tomorrow and Thursday, so we just wanted to kind of give you that heads up with those First Alert weather days. Now, as we head into the upcoming weekend, of course, we have Labor Day weekend. Temperatures will cool back into the low 90s, and that's thanks to an increased rain chance. So we'll start to at least introduce small rain chances because we'll have enough moisture for those heat of the day showers and thunderstorms Thursday and Friday. Maybe a spotty shower tomorrow, but our rain chance about 10% for Wednesday. But then a cold front will start to approach, and that could increase our coverage of rain Saturday, Sunday, and then the first one fizzles apart. A second quickly follows into Monday. So we could have some fairly elevated rain chances, especially Sunday and Monday. I will say the model you're looking at right now is the European model. This has been the wetter of the two solutions, and the GFS has been dry very consistently. So there's definitely still some question marks on the forecast, the rain chance kind of penciled in right now, but just know right now it looks like our best chance for rain will be on the way Sunday and Monday. But it doesn't look like a washout as of right now. So if you're already thinking about your Labor Day weekend plans, just think of something indoors as kind of a backup, or at least know that in the afternoon you might need to head inside for a little while. But we'll have a better idea of timing and coverage for you as we get closer to the day. But just know it's not going to be a completely dry and super hot Labor Day weekend. We'll have at least a chance for showers and thunderstorms, which will help cool us back into the low 90s. All right, so here's looking at your First Alert 7-day forecast. Low 90s today, still dealing with the low humidity. And then we will have the higher humidity Wednesday and Thursday, mid 90s, feeling more like the triple digits. And then we will increase rain chances all the way into the upcoming weekend with Labor Day, about a 40% coverage of showers and storms. And that'll drop temperatures into the low 90s starting Saturday. All right, everyone, make it a wonderful day. Thanks so much for choosing us here on Atlanta News First Plus for your news headlines and your forecast. We'll keep you updated on all of today's stories and your weather online, on air, and on the First Alert Weather app and the Atlanta News First app, and also, of course, right here on Atlanta News First Plus. Make it a good one.